Well, I haven't been online in a couple days or weeks, and weeks. I don't know why it's been so slow. I've had some dry spells, but this has been pretty slow lately. I don't know what's going on. I've had a few customers. I've been looking for opportunities, and I think when you're not making a whole lot of money, you kind of freak out. You don't know where to spread your energy, and that can get a little frustrating and a little scary. Being on your own, I've kind of grown accustomed to the ups and downs, but this has been a long, slow spell. When we had the pandemic, that was a bit of a slow spell, but it wasn't this bad, ironically. I find this interesting. But anyway, I'm not here to talk politics. I'm not here to talk economy. I'm here to bitch and moan. I usually like to upload when I'm out in the desert because it allows me to get a clear head. There's something about the big city that just keeps me from wanting to relax, and my thoughts are bouncing around more. So when I'm in the desert, I don't know, it's just relaxing. But anyway, met an old lady a couple weeks ago, helped her reset her email password. I have a feeling I'd hear from her again. And I did. Not for the same problem. So she bought an iPhone, a new one. She went straight to the Verizon store. What do you think happened? She has an email she uses to correspond with others. She also has another email. Of course, because she only corresponds with one email, she assumes when the Verizon clerk says, "What's your email?" it doesn't occur to him to ask if he has more than one. So they restored her phone, using an iCloud account tied to that email. There's nothing in it. So me being experienced, realizing she's missing her data, knowing she had a phone full of data, made me think. Then I realized, because I like to offer as much value as possible, I remember before leaving, the first time she paid me, I stuck around for another 5 or 10 minutes to make sure her phone was in good condition, because the first time she hired me, it was just to set up her email password, which she didn't quite finish resetting. So ultimately, in the 2 or 3 hours I spent with her, actually it was probably closer to 4, I was on the phone with Apple support. Apple wants us to spend, I'm bouncing around, aren't I? Yeah. Apple wants us to spend about 3 or 4 days while they factory restore her account. I don't understand. So anyway, the account I've realized we need to restore is the other email that was powering her phone. The email she has, but she doesn't correspond with, is her Gmail email. That's where the Verizon tech goofed. When the data wasn't there, they should have realized, or they didn't know to think, that she might actually have her data in another email. This being an elderly, non-tech savvy person, she didn't realize how important it is, or how her phone could be using an email that isn't the email that she corresponds with. It's frustrating. I'm not so frustrated that she got logged into the wrong email because it's an easy mistake to make. I'm not even beating up the Verizon tech that badly. He just didn't know how to interview her. Why would you assume an elderly woman has more than one email? If she's insinuant that she only has the one, that's probably how that conversation went down. She has two. She corresponds with one. That's the difference. Her phone is powered by the other. And that's where all of her data is. So my bitching and moaning isn't Verizon, because it's a very forgivable mistake. And unless you're doing what I do all the time, you're not going to realize that's what went on. My frustration is that Apple wants us to wait, I guess, 4 days before we can unlock that account, because she doesn't use it for anything other than running the phone. That's where we are. I spent 5 minutes in her house today only to check the email, and that's the email receipt we got from Apple. It said that we were going to have to wait until the 4th. It's now April Fool's Day. Today, we have an email that says, yeah, on the 4th, just after midnight, you'll have access to the account, or we're going to do... It didn't say we would have access to the account. It said that we would be able to continue the process. I don't understand why we have to wait 3 days for Apple to give us, or to continue allowing us access to the account. That's what's pissing me off tonight. This was actually 2 days ago. I was going to go show up at her house yesterday, but I wanted to make sure a full 24 hours transacted, just to make sure we had a full day, because at best it was going to be a 24-hour period. When we were on tech support, they said it could be anywhere from 24 hours to 72 hours. I don't think they said 72 hours, but they said a few days. But anyway, I realize unlocking, or what's the term for an Apple account? If you don't know how to get in your account because you can't remember the password, I remember trying to get into the account and it asked to reset the account using the last 4-digit PIN that she remembers unlocking her phone with. We tried it, and the PIN that she knows is not the PIN that it wanted to accept. But that email is also tied to her same cell phone number. So she's got the same phone number tied to 2 different Apple accounts. Why do I have to wait 4 days to help with this? So anyway, that's how I spent my day. Actually, no, I spent 5 minutes with her today. That was yesterday. No, it was 2 days ago. I spent 4 hours on the phone. 1 with Apple, and then 2 with Verizon. Because in resetting the phone, trying to fix all this, what I did as a mistake is delete the eSIM, not realizing what I was doing, because the last time I did this was an older phone before eSIMs were a thing to erase. So after about 20 or 30 minutes on the phone, Verizon was able to walk me through getting that taken care of. That was a lesson for me to learn. Don't delete the eSIM. The phone was already active. I was trying to start over and restore once I realized her other email is where all her data probably was. Because the restore that the Verizon tech didn't give her her content. Anyway, I felt like saying hi because I haven't been on camera in a couple weeks. I feel like I'm missing something if I don't speak my mind when I have something to say. I never want to be one of those people that shows up on camera because they feel like they have a schedule to meet. I speak because I feel like saying something. I guess that's it. Have a good night.